Everybody, thanks for listening to the Triple B Experience. I'm your host, Bad Bubba Brewer. I just want to give you guys a little bit of insight about me, what makes me tick, what really gets me going, and what pulls my jets when need be. I love professional wrestling. I wrestled for 17 years, and also I'm a huge Steelers fan, and I've collected comic books all my life. I'm going to talk about the stuff that I want to talk about. True experiences that are entertaining, and we recant them stories to you, the masses out there in podcast land. Join me on this crazy journey called the Triple B Experience.
Hi, everybody. This is Bad Bubba Brewer, and you're listening to Triple B Experience episode number 14. And the only 14 that I know was Neil O'Donnell's number, and that wasn't famous because he threw 3 picks in the Super Bowl against the Dallas Cowboys. But he did beat the Chicago Bears that year to get a run so we could get in the playoffs. But still, that is the only famous 14 that I know of. But until now, it is episode 14. So to listen to the Triple B Experience, I'm going to let you know where you can right now. You can listen to it on idiotradio.net. They have their own personal app, so you can download it and listen to it at any time. And there's a whole bunch of other shows with Todd DeFazio and myself on idiotradio.net. And Todd's show is a pretty damn good show. And you can listen to it at iHeartRadio. You can listen to it on iTunes. You can download it on SoundCloud. And then you can watch it on YouTube on any device known to mankind. So your phone, your tablet, your TV, your computer, wherever, people, you can do it, you can watch it, you can listen to it, and you can give me the feedback that I need to make this show bigger, badder, and better than ever. So, ladies and gentlemen, we'll roll right into it. So, I know we're just coming off the lovely Memorial holiday weekend. I know I probably ate a little too much, and it's not what I wanted to do, but it's very hard when your arm is twisted to eat a hot dog and a hamburger and potato salad and all that great stuff. And I've been slacking on trying to eat right. I'm getting back into it as of Tuesday. I'm taping this on Wednesday. I had a couple days off. So I'm trying to get some stuff done through this lovely tornado watching and stuff that we've been having as of late. Like I feel like I'm living in Seattle, Washington, where it's pouring rain and it's drenched. Everything's just flooding. It's ridiculous. I feel like I got to make an ark and get a couple animals and put them on board. But anyway, I'm still boxing. I went to still go with the Brandon Watkins's boxing. So anybody that wants to go box, I've always said this, he always trains. He trains the little people too, but he also trains the bigger people like myself. If you ever want to do it, it's a great workout. And I was dying Tuesday. I was dying yesterday. I was sweating after the first 10 minutes I was there, so that's a good thing. So when you're sweating, it's a good thing. Now when you're sweating, drinking a beer or watching TV, now that's a bad thing. So I just want to let you know. I'm still lifting Uptown Fitness, still trying to do that. So I know how it is for people that have weight issues to try to overcome their weight issues because, no offense, ladies and gentlemen, I did this all to myself. I have nobody to blame but me. So I have to work slowly to try to achieve what I want to do. And I would like to be under 300 pounds sometime, hopefully in the near future. I wanted to see where I'm weighing when I turn 48 years old, okay, and go from there. It's a slow, tedious process. I was down to 350. Now I'm back up to 360. It's probably water weight. I'm not going to let it fucking derail me. I'm going to get focused again. I got to keep focused. It's very, very hard because people, I think people laugh and they want to make you not succeed in life. And I just got to tell them to kiss my dago ass. So I'm just going to keep striving and keep doing what I'm doing and just work out when I can and do what I can and eat right and do some yoga because I fell I fell last week at my house raking and I took a back bump, and I haven't took a back bump since I wrestled Big Lenny, where he beat me for the Diamond Championship Wrestling Heavyweight title with a hard punch, and he took the title off me. And I took a back bump, and I busted up my knee. I was bleeding. I was just raking is what I was doing. So I am damn lucky I didn't do anything else. But still, let's just put it this way. That's why I'm not wrestling anymore, and I don't ever see myself wrestling again unless I lost a lovely 100 pounds, because then I'd be so light on my feet. I'd be a cruiserweight. No, I wouldn't be a cruiserweight. I'd still be 260. But I would try to be as light on my feet as I could doing cruiserweight maneuvers, which I probably could never do anyway, and I would never try. But it's nice to talk about it. But I'm doing that. I'm also still remodeling my house, getting it downstairs. I had, like I said, Brad Gifford helping me do the walls, and I have Kevin Adams from work doing a great job helping me wire my lights up and stuff. He knows what he's doing because he was doing 3 boxes to 5 boxes. I was still on 1 box trying to put the wire in because I can't build anything, people. I can destroy shit. And I can sit down in a chair and break it, but I can't build anything. But you give me a sledgehammer and I can F some stuff up. So they're helping me with that. Hopefully we get the wires and we get the ceiling painted. Then we get the drywall and we work from there. I know due to the tornado and the rain the last couple days, it's a little bit of moisture, and I know a lot of people's basements are probably way worse than mine. It's not that bad. I did that dry lock. It was pretty good, but I just need to make sure it's fully coated or maybe add on some areas. A little bit of moisture, but not too bad. So I'm doing what I can when I can do it, plus work, plus, life in general, people. You gotta manage your time and try to do it wisely and just go from there. And I wanted to get this podcast in before it got chaotic in my life, because it usually does. I'm doing 800 million things. And also, besides, trying to, battle with the bulge, as I'm always going to do. And, working on my downstairs. I did some landscaping outside. I'm going to get a little bit more of that done. And then, besides mowing my grass, because I push mow my yard, people, because it's my cardio. And I like to do it because I listen to like heavy metal music or podcasting and get my yard done, and I push. So, and I actually hired my youngest nephew, but now he's got football practice, so I'm going to do it on my own. And that's just the way it is. It's okay. I'm okay with that. But it's probably getting a little high now because it's waterlogged, and it'll probably grow to a big giant Amazon, but I'll deal with it. But also too, and since last time that I did a podcast, I went to my first independent wrestling show of this year. I went to Image Wrestling, based out of Altoona, run by Ken Downs, Big Mike, Don Dawson's a ring announcer, and Jeremy Chapman. They're all a staff. It's a team-oriented thing. I think they're all owners, I believe. They run a tight and nice show. That show was done at 9:09. I was back in Indiana at 10:30. But I took the long way around, so I fudged up. But that's okay. But it was done in little over 2 hours. That's great. An independent show, 3-4 hours. No, that's not my cup of tea, because I got to get home. I had to work the next day, and that was phenomenal. And they put Zuboff in this. They did a presentation for him, and I went up there to see Zuboff. I haven't seen him in years. And that was good. I seen Brock Singleton wrestle, and they had D'Lo Brown was supposedly scheduled to go, but something happened. But you know what? I didn't really give a fuck about D'Lo Brown anyway, because I didn't care for him anyway. And when he no-showed, I didn't care for him anymore. And the organization actually overcome that, and they told the fans that they could get their monies back. And they were, being upfront with the people, and that's what you got to be. You got to be upfront, and they were. And they had a packed house. The building was kind of hot. Hey, it is, it's spring. It's going to be hot. It's not like you're going to have 10,000, air conditioners running at the same time. It's just the way it is. It's independent wrestling. You're just going to have to deal with it. Get your 2 hot dogs for $1.50 and drink your Coca-Cola and watch a great wrestling show. And it was a good wrestling show. I saw Bobby Fulton do a heel turn, and I've never seen him wrestle heel before. And they brought him in, and he helped him out because since D'Lo no-showed, he showed up, and he was great. It was a great. He wrestled, I believe, Patrick Haynes. Great match. Opened the show. It was awesome. Big Lenny was over like Rover. I mean, Big Lenny is just he blew the roof off of the goddamn place. It was just loud as fuck. Them crowd up there was loud. The Altoona Image Wrestling crowd is loud because Altoona, when I wrestled for KCW, there were some crazy and some loud fans. And the tag match with Manny Fernandez, Manny the Bull Fernandez, the Bull, Raging Bull, tagged up with Jimmy the Hippie against the main event. Great match. I never seen Manny wrestle since the Civic Arena when NWA was in town that time. And he was good. You know, Jimmy the Hippie is always awesome as ever. And then the main event was a 3-way with Chris LaRusso, Lee Moriarty, and the Beast Man. And I tell you what, that 3-man was fucking crazy. This Beast Man is phenomenal. LaRusso, Morality, just awesome main event. You know, and I guess on June 22nd, they're going to set up for their heavyweight championship match. Look, people, it took me, I live in Indiana, and I live very close to the bypass, and I was at the Sheets in Altoona in an hour. It took me an hour to get to Altoona, a little over an hour to get to Altoona to watch a show, and like I said, it was done by 9 o'clock. And I was at Sheets because I got my girlfriend some French fries on the way home. I got Tammy some French fries and a small pizza for her daughter, and it was 10:30 because I had to work the next day. So that was phenomenal. It wasn't like it's 12 or 1 o'clock in the morning. I got to see Wild West up there. I said hello. I didn't hang because I had to work the next day. But like I said, if you're looking for something to do, because people are like, look, and if you're a wrestling fan, which I am, I love the game, love the sport, go see Image Wrestling. So, like I said, now I've been doing that, and I've done a whole bunch of other stuff. And we're going to talk about that more in other segments of my show, where I give my review of the greatest movie I ever saw and talk about some other stuff in pulp culture, which I enjoy, and some other stuff that I enjoy called wrestling and Steeler football. But once again, like I said, I appreciate all the support that you guys listen to this. Please give me some feedback and let me know how I sound and how you like what I'm doing. Now, I know I said I was going to get some guests at my studio, but I am not right. I'm not really ready right now. I still don't have any room, and I'm going to work on that. And I don't know when I'm going to be able to do guests at this time. Okay. But I want to do guests, and I want to be more, have more stuff with the technological stuff that I need to actually do shows and actually make it as good as I saw at Todd's studio in Pittsburgh at the Idiot Radio studio, because like I said, and I always keep saying, is that studio was phenomenal. But I'm just doing this podcast. I'm just talking about stuff I like to talk about. My experiences in wrestling, the Steelers, wrestling, comic books, and every pulp culture thing that I like, or sometimes stuff that like pisses me off that I can tell you about. I'm not going to tell you where I got a bad meal at, because then people would be like, oh, Bubba, you're being an asshole. But I will say this. When I'm paying money for food, I want my food good. Who doesn't want their food good, ladies and gentlemen? If I want dog shit, I'll put it I'll get a bowl at my house, and I'll put it in there, and I'll throw some Heinz ketchup on it and go grab a spoon. Because when I'm paying for stuff, I want good service and I want good food, especially when my bill is over an astronomical amount. It ain't like I'm going to McDonald's and getting a goddamn Big Mac or two for $8 or whatever they cost now. But I don't like Big Macs anymore because they don't look like they used to. So that's what I'm saying. I'm not going to bash people, But when I think something's wrong or I don't like something, yeah, I use this podcast as a plateau, as a platform. And I'll say what's on my mind, and I'll take the rebuttal, and I'll take it if people don't like me, hey, that means they're listening. So everybody, this is the Triple B Experience, and you're listening to Bad Bubba Brewer.
The Triple B Experience.
We'll return after these messages.
For all your heating and cooling needs, service, and installation, contact our friends at Complete Comfort Heating and Air Conditioning, 412-513-3001. Doesn't your family deserve complete comfort?
Thanks for coming back to the Triple B Experience. I'm the host and the man that tells the stories, Bad Bubba Brewer. And this one story, I tried to get it in the first segment, but I was running out of time. But due to this podcast, last year I got to announce Homer City Midget Football, which, hey, was an honor for me because I never got to announce any type of sporting event before. But this time, the second thing was I got to MC a model competition sponsored by Troy Fritz. It was the Bunker Brawl 2019. And I just want to say it was something. I probably massacred a couple of the guys' names. Sometimes I'm not good at pronouncing names. Like, I don't know what it is. Maybe I'm a little dyslexic. I do not know, but I always fuck it up, and it takes me a while to repeat. But I also, thanks to the Fritzes for helping me out. But these guys that did these models, I just want to give a round of applause and hats off to them, because it takes a lot of time to have the pristine, timely ability to make these models seem and look that good. They don't seem it, they are it. They look tremendous. I couldn't do it. I know I might have a steady hand in certain areas, but it takes a lot of stuff to do. It's a hobby that these guys love. There's a lot of clubs that we're involved in. There was a couple, the Douglases from Iowa. They drove the whole way from fucking Iowa to come to Troy's model competition in Indiana County, which I believe was the first competition of its kind in Indiana County. And he gave out trophies and medals. And it was the Douglases from Iowa. I couldn't get people from 5 fucking minutes to come to a wrestling show to watch a show, unless I had alcohol, but then that was even hard. But these people came the whole way from Iowa. You got to give it up to those. I'd give it up right there. They were nice people. Justin had some awesome models, military models, airplanes, and there were science fiction models, movie models, cars. There was everything. Look, people, I am not telling you, whatever. I'm telling you, you don't have to take part in the models, but maybe just show up and see the craft of these people performing and doing something that they love, which I think is phenomenal. I was impressed. And you had guys in the military that did it, military vehicles and stuff. And I just want to, that's my second thing of emceeing or doing anything due to this podcast. It's a small percentage on what I do in my life, but I still like to entertain, and I still like to help people out when I can. And if this podcast can help people out and if they want me to do something, if I can, I would be more than happy to do it. You know what I mean? I got Ligonier donuts. They were awesome. And I don't think I'll ever eat another donut unless it's not from Ligonier, because they were phenomenal. They were huge too. So, but I just want to say, I didn't get a chance to say it in the first opening segment, was the Bunker Brawl 2019. I got to MC it. I was honored. And Troy's going to do one November 9th. Let's get everybody out there just to, pay a ticket to see these guys' work. It's phenomenal. And it's part of the proceeds go to charity. So that's what it's all about, people. So, okay, now I've been waiting for this for a long time. And I got off social media so I wouldn't be getting a spoiler of anything or what or how. Because people love to fuck up people that love to watch something and they just want to be that guy. They want to spoil people's happiness. Well, I wasn't putting up with that and I wasn't having that. So I got off social media the week of as soon as the Avengers Endgame come on, I went off social media. They wasn't getting me. I wasn't falling for that bullshit because somebody would download something and it'd be all bad. Look, people, I don't know why people want to do that. Why do people want to spoil somebody's fucking good time because they want to be like, tell you how it is? I don't want to spoil anybody's stuff until after they've seen it so I can actually talk about it. Okay? And now I can talk about it because most everybody in the world has seen it because it's got over $800 million domestically and it's just keeps on trucking. It's the second movie right now of all time ever to Avatar, which Avatar is your science fiction Dances with Wolves, people. That's what it is. That's in my mind. That's what it is. It's Kevin Costner in a blue outfit. Okay. And now they're going to have like sequels to that too. I don't know how you can get any more sequels than that. I don't understand it, but you know what? I live where I live and I do what I do. But I've seen every single Marvel movie of all time. I've seen every single one. I've seen every single Marvel movie. I've seen half of Howard the Duck, and I thought Howard the Duck was a shit. I like the comic book, but it was just too stupid for me. I don't have Howard the Duck in my collection, but I've seen Dolph Lundgren as the Punisher, and the only one I didn't see is the old Fantastic Four, which nobody's seen. You know what I mean? They didn't even release it. It was that bad. But this movie here, Endgame, was by far the best Marvel movie of all time. And I rank them every time. This is number one for me, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't go see the Endgame, that's your own fault. So it's been a month, and it's not my fault if I tell you the spoilers. We talk about it right now because I'm going to talk about it because it was it was great. The time, switch, traveling through time, all that. But the only thing that pissed me off was, look, I have collected the Incredible Hulk comic books all my life. I know every stage of the Incredible Hulk, what is, whatever happens. Whatever stage, whatever color he is, I've seen it, I've read it, I saw it. Okay? The Professor Hulk, that's what he was. Okay? Was okay. He when he got the glove and snapped it back, there is no way in hell that his arm will be that way. He can regenerate himself all the time. I don't give a fuck what director or what writer or whatever fucking states that the Hulk's going to have one fucking bad hand is fucked up. It ain't going to happen. Plus, eventually, Professor Hulk will turn fucking savage again and they will have to stop him. It's written in stone, people. It will happen. He's going to get pissed off and he's going to kick everybody's ass. That is cinema at its finest. Okay? And Thor being overweight Bubba with glasses on. Yeah. Awesome. But I think Hemsworth wants to play out his roles more, and he's still going to be in the Marvel movies, thank God. But, I mean, the ending, Robert Downey they can't afford him for $75 million. You know what I mean? It was, hey, look, I'm just going to tell you people this. When Captain America picked up fucking the hammer of Thor, I fucking cried like I was 10 years old. And I don't give a rat's ass when anybody says, I don't care if they think it's funny or it's a joke. I don't care. I am almost 50 years old, and I've been watching and reading comic books and watching movies all my life with this stuff. All this stuff. This and Star Wars and wrestling. Nobody is going to break my hobbies and make fun of my hobbies. I don't care. Yes, I was quiet in that movie theater like no other. And I took a piss before. And I stayed in my seat for 3 hours. Now, there was 3 rows of some young kids acting like a bunch of fucking juveniles. And I gave them the death stare and the look and told them to knock it off. I wasn't having people ruining my moment. People were talking. I zoned them all out. Now, Tammy was with me. I think Tammy was getting irritated because people were being idiots. But I wasn't. I was in the zone, and nobody was going to fuck up Destiny. So that's how it was. There was people sitting in the aisles of Indiana. They'd come in 15 minutes after. I do not know why you would come in 15 minutes after the movie started, especially when it's the biggest movie of all time. Except for, well, I'm going to say Star Wars. Because, you know, in 1977, that was the shit that started it all for me anyway. Okay? But then you had Major Death and Tragedy. You had, I'm so ready for the second, this other cycle to get involved. I have to go see it again because I missed a couple things. Jesus Christ, I missed Howard the Duck. I don't care how minute it was. I didn't catch him. Okay? But I did see other stuff. I watch YouTube and see some other stuff on how to translate all that stuff. And realistically, they incorporated a lot of comic book in that movie. Because when the Hulk has the whole base on his shoulder, is the same as Secret Wars 3, ladies and gentlemen, where he has the whole mountain and all the heroes underneath them. And the Hulk is holding up a whole mountain so nobody gets crushed. It's the same thing. Okay? The same thing. You know, and I don't care. I understand that Steve Rogers gave it to Sam Wilson. The Falcon is now Captain America. I'm okay with that. Okay? Because it happened in the comic book. Okay? But I like Steve Rogers. Steve Rogers is always going to be the premise of Captain America, just the same as Tony Stark is always going to be Iron Man. You cannot replace these characters with other characters because the originals will always be the same. They tried that before, ladies and gentlemen. I collect comic books. I know. They tried to push it down people's throat that Thor was Jane Foster as a female, and Sam Wilson was Captain America, and somebody else was Iron Man. Look, ladies and gentlemen, it didn't transmute into money. It was a lost cause, and that's why they went back to the originals. You can always duplicate something, but you can never duplicate the originals. That's why they went out with a bang. Hawkeye was good. Hawkeye had a big part in this movie. So that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying, if you didn't see it, probably don't listen to this. But hey, if you're listening to it, it's your fault that you didn't go in the first place. It was the greatest Marvel movie of all time. But hopefully, and also with Hulu and Walt Disney, when it comes in November, there's going to be stuff, and I can't wait because I watch that stuff because what's there to do now? I rather watch Marvel comic book movies sometimes than go to the goddamn bar, especially around here. Sorry, people. I want to build a bar downstairs so I can drink and then throw in a Marvel movie. I like to have fun just like everybody else, but sometimes it's not fun anymore. So I like to have fun. And I like to be entertained. And I also like to be taken away to watch movies. That's what I like. So there. It's made so much money, and it will be number one when it's all said and done. And if you didn't see it, shame on you. That's all I have to say about that. The Avengers Endgame, by far the best Marvel movie I've ever seen. And I've seen every single Marvel studio movie that they have, and I saw the old ones. And I watched The Incredible Hulk on TV when I was a kid. And I also saw the Spider-Man when I was a kid. and that's how it was. But this is the best movie. Spider-Man's coming out next, so you'll be entertained, because that's how I was. I was entertained. I was a 10-year-old kid being entertained, and that's how it was. So you're listening to the Triple B Experience. I'm your host, Bad Bubba Brewer.
The Triple B Experience.
We'll return after these messages.
Looking for a creative idea for meetings, business lunches, and special events? Call Spiels on Wheels, food truck and catering, and take the stress away. For more information, call them at 724-244-9881 or on Facebook at facebook.com/spielson.wheels.
And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Triple B Experience. I'm your host, Bad Bubba Brewer. Remember, you can get me on SoundCloud, idiotradio.net, iTunes, iHeart, YouTube. You can catch all the podcasts, all 14, because this is the 14th podcast of the Triple B Experience. Now, I just want to mention right now that the Pirates, I'm going to talk briefly about the Pirates because they look like a MASH 4077 unit right now, but the brightest thing in the world is Josh Bell. Josh Bell reminds me of Willie Stargell, and hopefully they do not trade him in 3 years. Hopefully. But Bob Nutting will not pay to get a championship team. And realistically, Nutting, I know you're not listening to this, but Nutting, all you got to do is pay for some players, win a championship, and PNC Park will be packed based on that alone. Not because the goddamn Bay City Rollers are playing, or Huey Lewis in the News, or free fireworks, or Manny Sanguian bobblehead night. The Pirate fans will come if you have a winning team, a championship team wanting to win a championship. I'm not spending any money on a Pirate game because Nutting owns that team. If I go, it'll be for free tickets. I'm sorry to say, but that's how I feel. But right now, Josh Bell is hitting the ball like yard. So I give him props. So other than that, that's the only thing I got about the Pirates. I think they're in third place. And we'll see where they're going to be in July, the end of July. Because then at the end of July, you know what that is. That's Steeler training camp. And it'll be all Steelers most all the time. And my next podcast, we'll be talking about the 2019 Steeler draft picks. I will do an in-depth show on my experience. I'm glad what we got, but I will talk about it on the next show. That'll be episode 15, will be the Steelers, the second annual Steelers draft pick show. I did it last year. I went through and talked about everybody that we drafted and what our team's going to be looking like. And we will do, I will do my records, win or losses, also during that podcast. So that'll be episode 15, and we'll get to talking about that one on our next episode. Remember, Steelers draft 2019, the wrap up, the review, and also what I think the Steelers and who they will win and lose in the next coming year. But now I want to talk a little bit of pro wrestling. I want to talk about the WWE, who just had Money in the Bank last week. And the Money in the Bank winner was Brock Lesnar. So I believe that they're doing Brock Lesnar to go to Fox when SmackDown goes to Fox. And I believe that's the reason why they did that. Matter of fact, I watched SmackDown today. I fast forward it most of the time. And the only one that I truly like right now, a couple of them, but they're just the creative guys, just everything is so scripted. I like to just shoot from the hip like I'm doing right here at this podcast on how to talk and stuff like that, and just shooting. I don't have a screenwriter writing stuff, so I just shooting from the hip when I talk about stuff. And I think that's what they should be doing that too. I think they should be doing promos without being scripted and be passionate when they talk about stuff. I want to say that they got some competition right now. I didn't pay for the all Elite Wrestling pay-per-view. I did not pay $60. I wanted to, but it was $60, and I'm not paying $60 for a pay-per-view when I can get, I hate to say this, but when you get $10.99 for the WWE Network, why am I going to pay $60 for a pay-per-view? And I know it's bad, but I watched a couple of matches that I wanted to on YouTube, and I seen them all, and they were great stuff. I'm just not paying $60. I'm just not doing it. I paid $50 to go to WrestleMania to see fucking Ric Flair. I am not paying $60 for pay-per-view, people. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to do that. But I will say it was a great pay-per-view. The matches were awesome. Chris Jericho and Kenny Omega were phenomenal. And Dustin Reynolds versus Cody was phenomenal. Bloody. And also listening to Jim Ross announce matches was great. So they're going to be on TNT on Wednesdays. So that'll give me something else to watch. I'll DVR it because it's hard to watch a lot of wrestling and watch a lot of TV shows right at this time that they're going. That's why I DVR it. I DVR Flash, Green Arrow, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., I DVR Monday Night Raw and SmackDown, and I fast forward it because that's the way sometimes it has to be because it's too boring because sometimes on WWE programming it's more talk than anything, and I still watch NXT, but I wanted to give in competition it makes it thrive. And actually they had Awesome Kong come back in the ladies match in All Elite Wrestling, and there was a 4-way match with Punxsutawney's own Britt Baker. And I don't know if people know that she's from Punxsutawney, but she is. So she's a somebody in the business. You know, that show was good, and it will be good on TNT with Jim Ross announcing. I'm just not paying $60 where I watch WWE networking for $10. You know what I mean? I just can't do that, people. It's just not going to be suffice with that. But I just want to say, you know, the next show, like I said, will be about the Steeler draft. And I think I will definitely be going. I'm definitely going on June 22nd to Image Wrestling. We talked about that in the podcast. Also, November 9th is the next Bunker Brawl 2019. Will be the model show. I don't know where it'll be. But I just want to say that I'm still doing this podcast and I'm still trying to talk about stuff and trying to create some kind of entertainment when I do this. And I'm just going with the topics that I do like and situations that I have been involved with that's not criminally or illegal that I can't talk about on the air. I don't need to get in trouble, and nobody does. And I will say one thing. It's hard to ride in the back of an ambulance without being seasick. That happened to me recently. I was not injured or anything, but it was work related. I cannot sit in the back seat of an ambulance because I feel like a big giant sock in a dryer. And also, people, I have a hard time not driving. I can't be a passenger anymore. I can't sit in the back seat. Look how I went from wrestling just to the back seat of sitting in cars. I can't do that. So maybe it's strange or whatever, but I feel kind of queasy and I don't know what it is anymore. Maybe I'm older, but I'd rather drive than be a passenger or be in a back seat. I'm definitely not in the back seat of an ambulance unless I'm strapped in a gurney, and hopefully that never happens. But that did happen one time a long time ago, and it wasn't good because I thought I was having a heart attack for real. But it was some kind of virus or something. Like I couldn't breathe, and it was after my grandmother passed away, and I think it was stress, and it wasn't good. But yeah, I was on a gurney in an ambulance, so I wasn't really queasy then. But I was queasy lately when I was in an ambulance, sitting in the back, and it kind of sucks. So if you have that problem, I understand where you're coming from because I do too. But all I want to know is I'm going to be watching the X-Men movies coming out next week. Godzilla comes out this week. I need to watch John Wick, so I need to get some movies watched and actually, because that's what I like to do. I also like to spend time watching some cool ass movies, and then I can give you guys a kind of a review like I gave the Avengers. Still trying to get some of my comic book collection filled in, and it's a slow, tedious process. And also look at, I got a nice statue that Troy Fritz gave me of Thor. It's going to go downstairs in the room. I got a whole bunch of stuff. I have so much stuff that I want to be able to try to put stuff up and try to get ideas on how to do stuff. So, like I said, but and then I'm going to put I'm going to put my wrestling boots up downstairs too, because I am not going to partake in the squared circle unless I lost 100 pounds and could wrestle like Eddie Guerrero. And I don't see that happening anytime soon. Me wrestling like Eddie Guerrero or me losing 100 pounds. But I will work on it. And it's a steady process. But like I said, if anybody has any feedback or anybody has any topics that they want me to talk about, please give me an email at badbubba, BADBUBBA 77@gmail.com. Let me know how you like the show, what I can do to better the show. I'm always looking to get better. I can't get complacent. I don't have a script when I do this, but I will have, for the next show, I will have information based on the draft picks that the Steelers have picked, Pittsburgh Steelers picked, because I'm not going to know everything about where they played and all that stuff, because I'm knowledgeable, but not that knowledgeable. But I'll give it my all. And I just want to say, if you're listening to me, I appreciate it. If you guys have Facebook, look me up on Facebook, the Triple B Experience fan page. Hit like. I got about 500 and some. I usually post up stuff from stuff I see online and post it on there and do that. And, hopefully I need all the support I can get. So I will say, also, you can catch me on idiotradio.net, iHeart, iTunes, SoundCloud, and YouTube, where you can listen to all the podcasting shows that I have and listen to the other shows that are on idiotradio.net. There's a ton of shows. Todd does a great job, and he does a show every week. So I'm just doing what I can do. This is the episode 14th show. And the next show we're going to be talking about is the Pittsburgh Steelers on episode 15. So get ready for that. It'll be coming real soon. And hopefully I have a lot more experiences that I can actually partake in actually talking to you guys about. I'll let you know how the weight loss is going. And downstairs and other stuff in general. And I can give you my critiques on wrestling. And it was very brief this time. I didn't want to spend too much time on the wrestling. Just Monday Night Raw and SmackDown could be a lot better. The All Elite Wrestling pay-per-view was phenomenal. And I do still like watching the older stuff too. So, that's old school is the best school for me. But I still like to see stuff that's entertaining, whether it's wrestling, whether it's movies or TV shows, and life in general. I like to be entertained. So hopefully I'm entertaining you guys. I entertained you guys on episode 14th podcast. I appreciate everybody for listening. Like I said, this is the Triple B Experience. I'm your host, Bad Bubba Brewer. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you guys on episode 15th, where that will be episode 15th. We will be talking all about the Pittsburgh Steelers draft picks and who they are going against in the fall of 2019. And I'll give you my picks, because this is going to be an exciting year without drama. I guarantee it. And last year was bad, not making the playoffs. This year we were going to make the playoffs, and I'll give you my predictions on the next podcast. So everybody, thanks for listening. I'm your host, Bad Bubba Brewer, and you're listening to the Triple B Experience.